take scripture as a reference, can anybody give me an example of a couple in the Bible that had conflict? Anybody? You? Yes, Nancy? Abraham and Sarah. Oh, okay, wow. What was that about? Did she decide to pretend, Kweli? It was an instruction. Okay. So you have a good example, yes? Alex? Mary and Joseph? What about that? So Alex says that Mary received a message, and Joseph didn't receive the same message, and so he was a bit skeptical. He was a bit skeptical, and he was saying, "Hey, this thing that we have that's going on, I'm not quite sure anymore." And he wanted to pull back. That's a good example. So maybe let's take a look at the very first one, and that is Abraham and Sarah. And then after that, we can bring it, closer home to the current day. So Abraham and Sarah. Abraham's name originally was what? Abram. And Abram received some visitors that gave him a message, first and foremost. And that message was that he would be a father of nations, that he would have descendants like, the sands on the seashore. But Abraham at that time how old was he? He received the message and he was in his 70s when he first received that message. He was in his 70s. So he wondered to himself, really? At this stage, I have no kids, and I will be the father of nations? And Sarah got to hear that message. Being the wife, she knew that she had some role to play in that. And because of biology being what it was, and because she was also advanced in age, Sarah decided to take matters into her own hands. What did she do? She got someone, these days we would call that person a what? A surrogate. It's actually a commercial arrangement now. You can get a surrogate mom. So the first case of surrogacy we see in the Bible in Genesis. And Sarah is saying, let me help out with this plan that God has given my husband, with this promise. And so she got the maid, Hagar, to sleep with her husband and to have a child. The son's name was who? Ishmael. Okay, don't worry, I'll bring this closer home. It's not a Bible class. I'll bring this closer home very, very quickly. It was Ishmael. Ishmael is the father of what nation? Do you know? Anybody? The Arab nation. And Isaac, who is the son of the promise, is the father of the Jewish nation. It is from him that you get the 12 tribes and modern day Israel. So the conflict that you see today between Israel and Palestine, between Israel and Iran, and between Israel and most of the Middle East actually came about because a husband and a wife had themselves some kind of a conflict. Basically, the wife wanted to help out a promise that they'd received from God. All right, so maybe I can try and bring things closer home now. Conflict. Is it possible to have a relationship? Who here has had a relationship with a friend or a sibling, and it has never had a rocky period. If you've ever had a relationship and it's entirely smooth, maybe we should start with those people that today are wearing, blue colored bands that last year were not. Is it possible? It's not. Anybody? Is it possible, or have you experienced? Maybe you have, and we'd like to hear from you. Have you ever experienced, or have you ever witnessed? Here's the question. Have you ever witnessed a couple or a friends that have never ever had some kind of a confrontation? All right. It's like a unicorn. You probably won't ever, because conflict is entirely natural. So the only question is, if indeed we cannot always see eye to eye, then how do we resolve these conflicts? How do we? When, there are certain things that we don't teach children. If Mrs. Ndori is here, I think she's the newest mom in town. When your child doesn't want to eat something and you're giving it to them, what does she do? You're giving the child. What does the child do? She'll push you away. But does she go to school? Is there a teacher that taught her how to do that? You see, when you're trying to give a child something to eat, and that thing is not sweet, if it's bitter, the child is doing this. It is innate. There are certain things that you're born with, and it is second nature, all right? So when we have conflict, it is second nature for us to want to withdraw, for us to not want to speak, engage, smile with that other person. It's totally natural. What does that mean for the person who is feeling sidelined? So here I am. I have maybe I offended my wife, or maybe she feels offended and I'm oblivious. I don't even know what it was that I did. But either way, somebody's offended. So what do I do? Getting upset is just like that child that you're giving something to eat and they're doing this. There are certain things that are inbuilt. Can anybody please tell me from your experience, when your friend, your partner, not many people are married, your boyfriend or your girlfriend is upset, what usually happens? I need some participation. I'll call names. If a friend, a family member is upset, what usually happens? Anybody home? All right, well, I guess that person will not respond appropriately when you try to speak with them. When you try and speak with them, they will not respond appropriately. You're trying to get their attention and you can see that they're sulking and they're keeping a straight face. So the question is, what do you do? Well, scripture says that you should not let the sun go down while holding a grudge. So I would suggest to you that it is a bad idea